Hi, I'm Ingrid Maddox, the host and the author of the AI manuscript. This is a handwritten manuscript that is right behind me, right there. And every part of it is handwritten so that you know there was no AI in the writing of this manuscript. Ironically, however, we do focus on AI, and this broadcast and the show and the handwritten manuscript is for us to be observant of all the things that are happening in our AI world today. Now, there are warp speed things, there are things that maybe we don't even understand that are going on behind the scenes. This broadcast is for God's people to be discerned and not deceived, and for us to be mindful in what is happening in today's world, where we seem to be utilizing AI for almost every sector of our doing, our being, our activities, our work, our interactions. And so, my goal with doing this broadcast and this video series is that we would pause and we would stop and we would reflect and look at how our world is shifting and how we are shifting as a species. Because right now, we share our world with another species. In our humanity world, we share it with the AI intelligence. And a lot of times we will go in and we will look at things that are happening online. I'll share my screen. A lot of depth goes into the research that I do. But today I am doing a very interesting broadcast today because I'm just going to go off the sleeve here. I'm going to just go off the cusp and I'm going to talk about okay, this America's AI action plan that was put into play in July of 2025 by President Trump. And there is a multi-part series within this video broadcast that I'm doing where we are doing a deep dive. You can go in and you can see the previous broadcast. I think it's on the Interlude 15. It's a multi-part series. Let me check. Yes, Interlude 15. And I have four of those right now, and there will be many more as I go into a deep dissect of this. So we have made it to page 2 on this thick AI action plan, America's AI action plan, on our deep analysis. Today, I want to go through and I want to do just a read a few parts of it and just see what your thoughts are on this. Normally, I have it all shared on the screen, but today I am just going right, real, and raw. And this is maybe how I will do the strings that are in this AI manuscript video series. I may do strings like this so we don't have all of the music, we don't have all the screen share, but it's just a short snippet in to get a little morsel and to have some thought process going on in your mind, critical thinking, without having to worry about all of the other production side. Okay, so let's talk about this America's AI action plan that was back in July of 2025 was put into play by President Trump. Now, there is also the Genesis mission that I've talked about on this broadcast. The Genesis mission was back in November, and that is where you have the rapid acceleration of AI in many sectors. And it is a part of this agenda that goes back to this the America's AI action plan back in July. Okay, so we're going to pay. I'm on page 3 now. It is written. This is written with such language that you really have to stop and dissect it. But right now, I'm just going to do a quick review here. So we have the pillar 1 on this is accelerate AI innovation. This is on page 3. You can go to the whitehouse.gov. You can find this full America's AI action plan yourself on that site. But one of the things that I look at here when on page 3 of this is remove the red tape and onerous regulations. So basically, the thought process is AI is far too important to smother in bureaucracy at this early stage, whether at the state or federal funding. This is the first paragraph here. The federal government should not allow AI related federal funding to be directed towards states with burdensome AI regulations. My thing with this is that what is this setting up when you have uh, from the federal side saying that um, no type of funding is going to be going to any states that have what they consider onerous regulations. So that is a dictatorship of control on where the expansion will be for AI acceleration, because it will be decided that if it's not going along with what the federal agenda is, then they're not going to get their funding. So that's a little question going off in my head when I read that. It's important for us to know what legal things are happening and what agendas are being put in play by the highest powers that be, because that does affect our life, it does affect our world. And that is why I want to do this broadcast, so that we are mindful of that, we are aware, we are awake, not asleep. Okay, the next thing is going down to you have the Office of Management and Budget. So you have this where you're unleashing prosperity through deregulation. And with this, all federal agencies to identify, revise, or repeal regulations, rules, memorandas, administrative orders, guidance documents, policy statements, and interagency agreements that unnecessarily hinder AI development or deployment. So here you have this the second bullet point in down in this second paragraph, and you're talking about the Office of Management and Budget, consistent with Executive Order of January 31st of 225. So there's basically, give me 1 second. Let me. So what you have is you have layers of executive orders that happen, and then it's an agenda that the next one comes, and it's got these pillars of support that support everything that's coming after it and everything that came before it. Think about that. It's a plan that's put into place so the things that came before it will support the execution of the next plan and the next executive order. Okay, so the thing that stands out to me for this is that you're sitting here talking about we are to identify, revise, and repeal regulations, rules, memoranda, administrative ordinance, guidance documents, policy statements, and interagency agreements that unnecessarily hinder AI development or deployment. So this means things that may have been put in play to be there for protection of not knowing what happens when AI gets to a certain state and it is at a super intelligent state or starts running on its own autonomously without listening to our human input. So some of these rules were put in play to protect that, but seems like with this AI, America's AI action plan, that these will be looked at and removed. And that is something as a concern. I am not saying, me personally, I'm not saying that all AI is bad. I think AI does have its usefulness. And I think in certain sectors and in certain types of actions in tasks, it does have a usefulness because we all use AI in some capacity. Being aware of what happens when you use AI or when you use it the wrong way or when you're only using it for a crutch and you're not thinking yourself cognitively, you're not originating your own thoughts, you don't have the critical thinking. Those are the things to be concerned about. To be concerned about when government puts in orders that nobody reads because they're so hard to read. It's like reading and like talking with a mouth full of marbles. You're reading a page full of marbles and you have to stop in order to actually understand what are they saying and what does that mean for my real world. And so that right there is what I'm talking about with concerns. I do not say that people can't use AI, shouldn't use AI. I'm saying be aware in the landscape with which you use it and in the depth with which you use it, and then also be aware what's happening in our government and what are they putting in play. Those are things to think about. We are in this. We may not have an exact say so in how the outcome's going to be because it's already got a trajectory and it's already going at a velocity that cannot be stopped. So this is for us to mindful, to observe, to be able to understand so that it makes sense to us as we change, as this landscape in our earth and our world changes to be an AI assimilated landscape. But staying true to your heart and your spirit, for those that believe in God and believe that Christ is the truth and is the way to life and to light, not allowing AI to be the entity that detours you from what the actual truth is in life, and not allowing yourself to be uh, disillusioned, not allowing yourself to think that, looking at things that these are real, and not allowing them to substitute what the tangible world has to offer that God gave us. That's what I'm talking about when I say about AI. But this America's AI action plan, just that right there. I'm only on page 3. I'm only on page 3, and I dissected in deep detail up to page 2, which is very interesting. The introduction. I encourage you to go there yourself to the whitehouse.gov and look at this. But you've got that in there, and then on also this page 3 of pillar 1. Pillar 1, the first pillar is to accelerate AI innovation. You also have right here, work with federal agencies that have AI discretionary funding to ensure consistency with applicable law. Consider a state's AI regulatory climate when making funding decisions and limit the funding. If the state's AI regulatory decisions hinder the effectiveness of that funding or award. So you think about, okay, you got to be careful when the money that we put in as taxpayer dollars, and in order to accelerate AI, the money that we put in, that the federal government's going to decide, okay, which states have the opportunity to have this funding, but only if you do what we say as we say it. That's always a problem because then you get to a place of control. So that's it for today. This is short and sweet. This is a short string number 22 that it goes with the interlude 15, which is about the America's AI action plan. It does matter that we go back in time and we dissect this. I know this was in July of 22.5, and I know warp speed has already happened. I know table stakes has probably already happened, that if people aren't using AI in some capacity, that they're not able to come to the table to commerce. They're not able to keep up. Now, you can use AI, of course, but keep in mind, if you yourself get to a place when you're using AI and you yourself cognitively don't understand how you're getting from point A to point B to point C to the actual outcome, and you're not understanding that, you will have a cognitive dissonance. You will have a disconnect. These are the things that I'm saying to be mindful of. Okay, that's enough for today. I wish you guys to have a great, wonderful day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. And remember, that nothing artificial can replace the beautiful 100% God made human that you are. You guys have a wonderful time, and I will see you